you are already losing. Right now, not tomorrow, not someday. Right now, as you breathe, as you scroll, as you try to figure out why things are not working the way they should. Someone in your life is reading you like an open book. They know how you will react before you do. They know what makes you angry, what makes you fold, what makes you stay quiet when you should speak. And they are using every single bit of that against you. You think you are just living your life, but to the right eyes, you are completely, dangerously predictable. That is the wound no one warned you about. Not your lack of money, not your looks, not your education, your predictability. The moment someone can predict you, they can control you. And control does not always look like a hand around your throat. Sometimes it looks like a smile, a favor, a perfectly timed compliment that keeps you loyal to someone who would replace you tomorrow without blinking. You have felt it, the moment after a conversation where you realize you were played, where you said too much, gave too much, trusted too fast, where someone walked away with something, your time, your energy, your dignity, and you stood there wondering how it happened again. It is not weakness, it is not stupidity. You were simply never taught the rules of the game that everyone else has been playing since the beginning. That game has a name, power, and nobody wrote its rules more brutally, more honestly, more dangerously than a man who was tortured for his beliefs, exiled from his homeland, and still refused to lie about how the world actually works. His name was Niccolo Machiavelli, and for 500 years the powerful have read him in private while telling everyone else to be kind, be transparent, be authentic. Because the moment you understand what Machiavelli understood, you stop being manageable. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Read that again, not once, until it settles in your chest like cold water, because that sentence is not just philosophy, it is the operating system of every person who has ever outmaneuvered you, outplayed you, outlasted you. They were not smarter than you, they were simply more deliberate about what they allowed others to see. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. What you are about to learn is not how to manipulate people into ruin. It is how to stop being the one who always ends up ruined. The first truth Machiavelli teaches is this: perception is not vanity, it is armor. The world does not respond to who you are, it responds to who it believes you are. Two men can have identical skill, identical intelligence, identical work ethic, but the one who controls how he is perceived will always be chosen first, trusted more, feared appropriately, and underestimated carefully. You have been told that authenticity is your greatest asset, and in a world of honest people, it would be. But you do not live in that world. You live in a world where perception is currency. And most men are going bankrupt, trying to be real in a room full of actors. Start deciding what people see, not through lies, but through deliberate presence. The way you enter a room, the way you pause before you speak, the way you never reveal your next move before it is already done. Drop this in the comments. I am done being readable. The second truth is one that will sting. Most men broadcast their vulnerabilities like an open wound and then wonder why predators appear. Think about the last time you vented your frustrations to someone you thought was an ally. Think about what happened after. Information is power. Your pain, your fears, your doubts. These are not things to hide because you are ashamed. You hide them strategically because the wrong person will use them as leverage. Machiavelli understood that the prince who reveals his doubts creates doubt in others. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a weapon that most men hand over willingly the moment they feel uncomfortable with it. Learn to be comfortable being unread. Let people sit with the discomfort of not knowing what you are thinking. That discomfort is your power. The third lesson is about allies, and it is darker than you want it to be. Machiavelli did not trust loyalty built on love. He trusted loyalty built on necessity. The man who stays because he needs you, stays. The man who stays because he likes you, leaves the moment something better walks through the door. Look at your inner circle right now. Who is there because your presence, your access, your value makes their life better? And who is there simply because you have been around long enough to become comfortable? Comfort is not loyalty. Proximity is not brotherhood. Start building relationships where you bring undeniable value, not just warmth. Because warmth alone will leave you surrounded by people who disappear the moment the temperature drops. Drop this in the comments. Not everyone in my circle is in my corner. The fourth truth cuts to the center of why you keep losing ground without realizing it. Consistency is predictability, and predictability is vulnerability. The man who always responds the same way to pressure can be pressure tested until he breaks. Machiavelli observed that the prince who is always merciful will be exploited by those who know mercy is guaranteed. This does not mean become cruel. It means become unpredictable in your response to disrespect. When you always forgive immediately, they learn forgiveness is free. When you sometimes withdraw without explanation, they learn your peace has a price. You do not have to threaten anyone. You simply have to stop being guaranteed. The moment people cannot fully predict how you will respond, they begin to respect the space they take up around you. The fifth lesson is about image, and it is where most men completely abandon the game. Your image is not your ego. Your image is the story the world tells about you when you are not in the room. Machiavelli wrote for princes, men who needed to be trusted by thousands, feared by enemies, and admired from a distance. You do not need a kingdom, but you do need a reputation that precedes you in a way that works in your favor. What story are people telling about you right now? Are you the guy who is always available, always agreeable, always there when called? That story, however kind it sounds, translates as low value, high utility, easily replaced. Begin protecting your time like it is the most expensive thing you own, because it is. Let people feel the weight of your absence occasionally. Let them wonder. Wonder is the beginning of respect. Drop this in the comments. My time is my currency, and I have been giving it away for free. The sixth truth is about how you handle being wronged, and this one will test your character in the deepest way. Machiavelli was ruthlessly clear. A man who has been insulted and does not respond sends one message to the world: insult me again. But he was equally clear that public rage is the enemy of actual power. The man who screams loses ground. The man who becomes quietly precise gains it. This does not mean revenge. It means response calibration. When someone disrespects you, the worst thing you can do is explode. The second worst thing you can do is nothing. What the powerful do is remember, recalibrate, and respond at a time of their own choosing, in a manner that cannot be traced back to emotion. Cold, deliberate, final. The seventh truth is the one that will change how you walk into every room for the rest of your life. Mastering perception means mastering the narrative. Not just what you say, but what you do not say. Not just how you appear, but how you disappear. Scarcity of access is the foundation of perceived value. The man who is everywhere is appreciated by no one. The man who appears selectively commands attention when he does. Machiavelli understood that the prince who is too visible becomes ordinary. You are not meant to be ordinary. Begin treating your presence as a premium. Show up fully when you choose to show up. And when you withdraw, withdraw completely. No half measures, no anxious explanations, no over-justifying your choices to people who were not consulted when those choices were made. Drop this in the comments. Scarcity of my presence is the beginning of my power. Now listen closely, because this is where the script of your old life ends. You spent years believing that if you were just good enough, loyal enough, patient enough, the world would recognize it. That if you worked harder, gave more, kept your head down and stayed humble, the right people would notice and reward you. And what did that get you? Overlooked. Used, grateful for scraps from tables you helped build. That version of you, the one who waited, who hoped, who kept forgiving what should never have been repeated. That version has to go. The old you is dead. What rises in his place is something different, something that has absorbed the philosophy of a man who stared into the darkest corners of human nature and came back with a map. What rises is a man who chooses what he reveals, who controls what story the world tells about him, who builds relationships on mutual necessity, not blind loyalty, who understands that perception is not deception, it is strategy, who has decided that his energy, his time, his mind, his presence are not free. You are a weapon, pointed at your own future, not at your past, not at the people who overlooked you, not at the situations that broke you. The power Machiavelli wrote about was never about tearing others down. It was always about building something so precise, so deliberate, so controlled, that nothing could touch it. That is what you are becoming, not a man who manipulates, a man who cannot be manipulated, not a man who controls others, a man who will never again be controlled. You belong to no one, not to their opinion of you, not to their version of who you are supposed to be, not to the role they cast you in without your permission. You are sovereign, and sovereignty does not beg for recognition. It does not perform for approval. It does not explain itself to people who would not understand the journey regardless. If this video reached something inside you, something that had been waiting to be named, then you already know what to do next. Not because I told you to, but because you have decided that your evolution is non-negotiable. That is what this channel is built for. Not followers, architects, men who are building something in themselves that the world does not have a category for yet. If that is you, stay. If that is not you yet, stay anyway, because it will be. Drop this in the comments. I came here ordinary. I am leaving dangerous. And before you go, I want to leave you with one question. Not for me, for you. Sit with it. If the most powerful version of you has been watching your life for the last 5 years, What would he say you need to stop letting people see?